Welcome to Bap Sundays Season 1, Episode 2. Today we have a hot man, I would say hot man skate, young son. I would say hot man skate.
Yes, sir.
Our guest today is Sipesihle Bolofo. He goes on the decks by 2B. He's a fashion designer. He's a music producer, a DJ, and he's also a part-time photographer. So, my brother, I like starting each and every interview with like an intro. So, let us know about yourself, my bro.
Hey, my boy. So, I'm 22 years old. Originally born and raised from the southeast of Johannesburg, straight up. Yeah, dog. I'm a designer, music producer, DJ, like you said. I studied at Leicester for like 2 years. Currently just finished my course at an academy called Revolution. So it's like my sound engineering qualification. So I just backed that, and yeah, bro, that's me. I'm an owner of a brand called Die for Fashion. And then I'm also a head DJ and founder of a podcast and music agency called Radio Die for Fashion, or Die for Fashion Radio. I don't know, people prefer to let's get it. So yeah.
So must say same Yana Shandes type of thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Man. Yeah. Shout out for that Yana background,
Yes, sir.
who you are. So I'd like to just like kickstart the interviews by asking about like how did the transition from like from fashion to music come about? Because I know you from like a fashion background, and obviously you have now tapped into like producing and the music side of things. So like, how did that transition come about?
Boy, it's not easy the way we like experimenting. But don't lie, bro. I think the transition for me, and anyone that knows me well could probably vouch for me. I think that was kind of like the inevitable. I think that was like something people saw me doing even before I saw myself doing that in a way, So I've always had, first, like you said, bro, I'm a very fashion-orientated person, and that's gonna be like my first love. But in terms of the music side, I'm a firm believer in expressionism, So I really found my expression through, fashion designing and all of that. But then I found that I could also be more vocal in the music side of things, whereas like with the mixes, the podcast content, anything like that. So I don't know, man. Like, it wasn't a hard decision, dog. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, it was just there, and I knew I was gonna do it eventually. I knew if the fashion shit isn't for me, then I still have the sound shit. And I don't want it to sound like either or as a plan B or plan A, but I think those two really distinct odd aspects really define me and how I express myself. So yeah, that's how the decision came about, I guess.
Cool. Because I understand that, also for me, like music really plays a huge role in like my creative process,
For sure.
Not only that, but also like my daily life, whereby like music
is, you know what I mean?
You
always have that jam.
So it's really dope that you actually wanted to express it more in terms of you even going to school for like music production and stuff, just to strengthen that and then solidify that, So like, what would you say you prefer more between producing clothing and producing beats, and like why do you gravitate towards one more than the other?
I can't answer that, boy. I'm gonna be straight with you, babe. Like, I can't choose, because I think each craft individually needs to be respected, and you need to give your 100% towards each. So I wouldn't put either or on a pedestal above the other type shit, because I don't know, man. There's just like a very fulfilling sensation when you know you get like a sketchbook, a sketch, you have a few designs going on. Like, you know, you end up like going crazy with it. Like, okay, cool. You know, you motivate yourself through like sketching and just the concepts you have in your head that you like portray on a paper, you know. And that same fulfillment, I find it also with like the music side. You know, I get to find sounds that like express a mood or an energy I'm on at that particular time. So they both have their own benefits. So I can't even say that either or is better than the other, or I could choose. I gravitate to both, bro. And I think what helps with gravitating to both of them is that like both these career paths are like intertwined. Because I've like in the same circle type shit. So I don't know if you can say it, I'm sorry. But like, yeah, bro. So but like now with them being intertwined, it's just like they balance each other like in a natural manner. Like it's so organic, dog. Like Nomaranja, you need for you to get influenced fashion side, like with the fashion side, you need to find inspiration from what you see on the daily basis, what you hear in terms of music, like the feeling, basically. You know what I mean? So I can't choose between either or.
I see that's like a tough one for you to answer.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I feel like really like both art forms have their role that they play in
your
that.
life, exactly, bro.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah. So and also like the fusion of the both, you know, which is also what we do here by Bap Sundays, is that
Yes,
we
sir.
are creating a platform, you know, for creatives to come through and also express themselves in also like the sound that they listen to, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you're saying, I get like that the two careers like being intertwined and being like a fusion of some sort. So
yeah, at the end of the day, it's art, dog, you know, and if it's art, then it's gonna connect to another piece of art, no matter, you know what I mean? And I think I'm one that really pushes people not limiting themselves creatively. Like, yo, bro, if you know you're good at sketching, it doesn't mean you can be good at, you know, producing music or whatever the scenario is. Like, just like try, experiment and find out. Like, okay, before you can say you're not good at something, I'd say try, you know. Like I think that goes back to being an expressionism enthusiast, you know, like you need to express yourself thoroughly in many ways as you can as a person.
Yeah, man. I really feel that, you know, expressing yourself to the fullest. So, like we have D4F, nah, and D4F radio. So, like, tell us a little bit more about like what these entities are about.
So basically, nah, you could consider D4F the mothership of like the many things I want to do with like D4F as a brand, right? But Die for Fashion is practically, like logically and honestly speaking, it's a clothing brand, point blank, that's pushing, I don't know, a South African culture, or maybe an aesthetic that I could portray through my vision and perception of South African style. You know what I mean? So with that on its own, okay, let's just break it down easy. D4F is like the clothing brand, right? That focuses on anything to do with the fashion. So from the visual photographies to, you know what I mean, concept shoots, videos, all that, and the clothing included. You know what I mean? And then with D4F Radio, it's a podcast, obviously, but in the long term, it's also a music agency, and a music agency is whereby we just like uplifting other creative artists, you know, that are in the music industry, whether through singing, music production, poets too. Like we find poetry to be a form of music too, you know what I mean? So basically just uplifting each other, and in the same sense, because we have an in-house radio podcast where we like push like music collaboration in terms of mixes and playlists, you know what I mean? Because we find that you really do get inspired by finding new sounds that you hear, and that like kind of gravitates into like you wanting to be a better person than you were the day before. You know, so it's like you feel good when you have a good playlist, and you do good when you look good. You know what I mean? So that's how they both blend into one type thing. And so if anything, bro, both are like the motive for both is just to uplift a certain culture within the South African era, especially the time we live in. You know what I mean? I feel like we have a broad spectrum of creatives, you know what I mean? And I like how we all showcase our individuality through our different signatures. And with type of fashion, I would say it's the brown. You know, I think brown resembles dirt, but that same dirt could be richness too. You know what I mean? So yeah, basically, music podcast, fashion clothing line. That's the easiest way I can put it for you.
That's
And then
really
obviously,
nice.
there's still more to come in the near future.
Yeah. I honestly cannot wait for like the projects that you're gonna give us from here on, you know, and also like I really like the depth in which you explained these two mediums or these two things that you first said they are a fusion, you know, within your creative spectrum, you know. So I like also how you classified all of that, you know. So let's tap into the part-time shandis, you know, the part-time shandis, which is the photography, you know, the photography, like what inspires you to take like these pictures of these building and these landscapes that you are always coming across like on a daily basis? Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't even like, bro, even when like you suggested that I'm a part-time photographer, I was like confused as fuck. I wouldn't even lie, bro. Like, But to be honest, I just think, bro, like, that's like a visual reminder to me always to like embrace these buildings that represent who we are, like the history that comes from them. You know, so like I'm very grateful for like who I am and where I come from, you know. So obviously I'm gonna find significance in appreciating everything around me. And where there may be a glimpse of a building, you know, that building has a story about who we are in some way, you know what I mean? So it's just always like, yeah, bro, like it's always finding inspiration in your surroundings, you know, like no matter how fucked up shit can get. It's also like a coping mechanism, you know, like it's always good in like just recollecting a picture and what the memories that you like, it gives you, you know what I mean? Nahlangana nesithombe sakudala ongasikhumbuli ubone isimo sikhona ukhumbule all of knowing, which is like a very nostalgic sensation that I like practicing, you know what I mean? Because every picture and every scenery, anything that your eye shows you is a blessing. So it's what you do with the blessing of what you see. And I just prefer to keep the picture lasting longer, if anything. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's basically it, bro.
Nah, that's really nice. Cause like I feel like visual stimulation is something that really plays like a huge role in one's life. You know?
Especially
the because
process.
Exactly, because you can actually classify stuff by just seeing them, you know, and you broadening that into something that I call part-time photography, you know, because we need to make it professional in some way, you know what I'm saying? So like what I would say is like that part-time, that you take your time out from like your specific career electives to actually express yourself in another art form, which is really good. And it's something that I feel like as creatives we need to practice, you know.
Expressionism, like, bro.
Broadening like ourselves as just like creatives and you know, not boxing ourselves into one thing, you know. And
bro, like, I have this thing that you taught yourself to be a creative, you know what I mean? You teach yourself certain things, you know, you like everything is a habit. And before it's a habit, it's something you start doing frequently, you know what I mean? So yeah, bro, like you can really, if you're really serious about expressing yourself and you can really like consistency, like I don't like the thing when they say you need to be consistent by dropping every week or blah, 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 blah. But consistent in the manner of like, you know, you just, your heart is always there, basically, type shit. Doesn't mean you have to be executing or as long as your heart is there and your mind races because of that certain objective or whatever. And bro, yo, that's expressionism. You know what I mean? Feeling something that you want to share with the next person. That's expressionism, whether it's visual, whether it's, and you know what's the crazy thing? I might be working all these things, but I find to be fulfilled in just the fact that I'm doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Rather than just saying, okay, no, I know how to, or I don't know how to, but I'm just gonna like criticize it from the jump, you know? we don't know how hard it is for someone to take, like photographers. I have this new established respect for them, bro. Like taking pictures is hard. And I know we make it seem very easy and all that, but it's a skill that one needs to like digest and understand. That's why I can't even like yo, I'm actually photographer, you know, even with like sounding years, I don't even like want to consider myself any of these things, even a fashion designer, because I always want to leave room for growing and learning in that particular thing. You know what I mean? And I think in this Kenya as the youth right now is the fact that we like titles, we like saying I'm a designer, we like, you know, and I feel like with those titles, they kind of limit our capabilities. You know, like we could be doing so much more in other aspects, but because you're a designer, you can't be doing the next thing. And that, who said that? You know, you think I always ask people that, like, who said, bro? Like, we write our own stories at the day, bro. So yeah, that's just me. I'm writing my own stories through the pictures I see, basically.
That's really, really nice, man, because I'm getting a sense of you saying, you know, to the people watching and to me that expressing yourself is really something you should take like put at the highest of regards, you know, like no matter what anyone says, you know, I've developed this new saying that says, Uzi, it's not about who did it the best and it's not about who did it first, but it's about doing it your own way and giving us your own story in that,
behind it.
Yeah, because
definitely.
I feel like we get in the fogginess of that in classifying ourselves as maybe a designer, classifying yourself as this, but like if you are doing it your own way and you feel like it's new and it's a new thing and a refreshing thing to you and it only matters to you, I feel like that's more powerful than another person actually being part of that or something of that nature. You know, you expressing yourself in that way is like really dope. Expressing yourself to the fullest, basically, you know.
Bro, that's God level, bro, for sure.
That's the
But you know, you can express yourself in many ways. Because, bro, like in expression, like it goes back to like the daily person, bro. Like, you know, you'll be going through so much, but because you don't know how to express yourself, you don't talk to anyone and you bottle this shit up, then it fucks with you, you know. So like that's what I'm saying. As a human, expressionism is vital, bro. Like you need to be showcasing them, like making someone else understand where you are, no matter what, you know. Like I know it's not like an entitlement thing, but you need to find someone that's on your wavelength, no matter what. That can always like balance you out when you're not on your best days. You know what I mean? Whether it's the music, whether it's the person, whether it's the art, you know, like as long as you express yourself to like find closure in understanding that you're getting through this, like this life thing, you're getting through it and you embrace the feelings, even whether fucked up or good, you embrace that feeling. You know, it's an inspiration at the end of the day. So yeah, bro, like I just really want people to be expressive and let's cut the bullshit with all these categorizations of titles. Like that shit is we way more than all that. That's what I think. I think especially now the times change, bro. Too beyond. We're too ahead, basically. Like too capable to just doing one thing.
Anyways, man, I'd like to end it on that note. You know, I'd really like to end it on that note. It was really a beautiful, insightful interview with you, my brother. And
thank you for having me, bro.
People, you can get 2B's playlist on our Apple Music profile and also on our YouTube Music. You also get a bit of like a description of what the playlist is about on the platforms. But from me, James Peary, I'm signing out, Joe. Shout out to you, man. Shout out.
Thank you for having me, my G. Bless up,
Thank you very much. Thank you.